0958 hours. The Caribbean sun is beating down on the water, but something far hotter is screaming south. A U.S. Marine Corps AH-1Z Viper attack helicopter is tearing through the air at 150 knots. It launched 15 minutes ago from the deck of the USS Iwo Jima, and right now, it is a flying arsenal with serious anger management issues. Below it, riding the waves, is a Cartel speedboat. The crew on board thinks they're just running another shipment. They have no idea they are about to become an artificial reef. In exactly 12 minutes, this ghost boat is going to discover why challenging the U.S. military is like trying to outrun your problems when Usain Bolt is chasing you. The pilot's eyes are locked forward, but he's not just seeing the sky. He's looking at a stream of digital violence flowing across his top owl helmet display. Range, 18 nautical miles. Closure rate, 195 knots. Time to weapons release, 7 minutes. The boat below had no clue that democracy was approaching from the north. Guided by satellites, tracked by heavy aircraft, and about to be hand-delivered by a Marine who hasn't missed a target since flight school. Through the FLR, forward-looking infrared display, the pilot could already see the heat signature. 2 white-hot dots burning against the cool blue of the ocean. The boat's engines racing north like they actually had a chance. But this wasn't a fair fight. The target was already being stalked by a P-8 Poseidon cruising comfortably at 20,000 feet. The P-8 is what happens when Boeing takes a standard 737 airliner, throws out the passenger seats, and stuffs the fuselage with $400 million worth of classified sensors. Its AN/APY-10 radar had picked up the classic smuggler signature miles ago. Twin engines, doing 45 knots, heading north from Venezuela on the Caribbean Express, the I-95 for bad guys. The P-8 had even dropped sonobuoys to listen to the underwater acoustics. It heard 2 Mercury 300 horsepower outboards running slightly out of sync. Apparently, engine maintenance wasn't in the cartel's budget this quarter. Inside the Viper's cockpit, the pilot began programming coordinates into the Target Sight System, TSS. This isn't just a helmet, it's basically Iron Man tech for helicopter pilots. 6 pounds and projects every scrap of targeting data directly onto the pilot's visor. The FLIR pod on the nose of the chopper is slaved to the helmet. If the pilot looks left, the camera snaps left. If he looks at a boat, the weapons lock onto the boat. The resolution is so crisp it can spot a lit candle from 5 kilometers away. Hanging off the stub wings were 8 AGM-114R Romeo Hellfire missiles, 4 on each side. The Marines chose the Romeo variant for a reason. It features a multi-purpose warhead that doesn't care what it hits, it just knows how to delete it. Each missile weighs 108 pounds, is 64 inches of angry aerospace engineering, and costs $150,000. 3 to someone who definitely didn't apply for financial aid. The pilot had already punched in the laser PRF code, 1113. Think of it as a unique Morse code for the laser. The missile will only listen to this specific beam of light, ignoring the sun, reflections on the water, or any other lasers in the area. The military learned about buddy lacing errors the hard way. Now, every missile gets its own private, deadly phone number. The Viper wasn't just packing missiles. Under the chin sat an M197 3-barrel 20mm Gatling cannon with 650 rounds. It can swivel 120 degrees and turn a fiberglass boat into Swiss cheese from 2 miles out. But why use bullets when you have a missile that can do its own math homework on the way to the target? The entire operation was synced through Link 16, the military's version of a group chat, except instead of sending memes, it sends death. The P-8 was feeding real-time intel directly to the Viper's computer. Boat speed, 45 knots. Heading, 350 degrees. Distance to Hellfire. Impact, 12 minutes. The math was working out about as well for the smugglers as a screen door on a submarine. 10:06 hours. The Viper closed to firing range. The pilot activated the laser designator. 0.64 microns wavelength. To the human eye? Nothing. To the Hellfire's seeker head? It looked like a giant Vegas billboard advertising a free buffet. The boat started evasive maneuvers, hard 45-degree turns every 30 seconds. It didn't matter. The TSS's auto track mode kept the laser glued to the hull using predictive algorithms that anticipated the boat's moves better than the guy driving it. The laser energy bouncing off the wet fiberglass created a sparkle pattern about 2 meters wide. The boat was essentially cosplaying as a disco ball for missiles. The tech inside the cockpit was mind-bending. When the pilot moves his head even a fraction of a degree, electromagnetic coils register the change. The system updates 60 times per second. 1 degrees. The pilot can look at a target, press a button to lock it, and then look away to find the next target while the computer holds the first lock steady. It compensates for the chopper's vibration, the wind, and even the pilot's own breathing. Time for configuration. The pilot selected LOBL, lock on before launch. There is an option for lock on after launch, where the missile fires blind and finds the laser later, but that's for when you're feeling adventurous. For a boat doing the cha-cha slide on open water, LOBL was the only choice. The missile would see exactly where it was going before it ever left the rail, like getting turn-by-turn navigation before you start the car. Next, attack profile selection. Top attack makes the missile climb high and dive straight down, great for tanks with weak roof armor. Direct attack sends it straight in. For a fiberglass boat with the structural integrity of a pool float, direct attack was the winner. The pilot wanted a waterline impact, maximum flooding, minimum floating, fuse setting, instantaneous contact. The Romeo has delay options for penetrating bunkers, but a fiberglass boat has the armor protection of a bikini in a paintball match. Instantaneous contact meant the 20-pound warhead would introduce itself the microsecond they met. Inside the missile, Freedom was getting ready to make a house call. The seeker head was chilling at 200 degrees C using compressed argon gas. This supercooling drops the thermal noise lower than a limbo champion, allowing the germanium lens to spot that faint laser reflection through the heat, the glare, and the spray. The seeker locked onto that 1113 PRF pattern like a bloodhound on a fresh scent. Its 30-degree field of view was open. It was waiting to be unleashed like a very expensive, very pissed-off DoorDasher that is never late. Internal diagnostics ran a check that would make a doctor jealous. Ring laser gyroscope spooled up to 40,000 RPM, ready to track every twitch in flight. The missile's brain booted up the flight control laws, physics equations that would guide it home with the precision of a Swiss watchmaker on Adderall. 147 different parameters checked in under a second. Every circuit, every sensor, every fin actuator, all systems green. This bird was healthy, angry, and ready to fly. 5 clicks. Money. 5. It arrives with maximum kinetic energy. It hits like Mike Tyson in his prime. On the weapons page, the laser constraints light went green. The pilot steadied the bird at 2,000 feet, smoothing out the vibration for the critical moment. Then came the magic words crackling through the headset. Viper 2-1, your weapons are free. 3. 10:09 hours. The pilot squeezed the trigger. The Hellfire punched off the rail like it was late for a hot date. 5 seconds flat. That is 22 Gs of acceleration. Enough force to turn a watermelon into a smoothie. But this missile's electronics eat G-force for breakfast. The autopilot grabbed control immediately. The silicon brain was running hot. Laser energy bearing 186. Depression angle 12 degrees. Altitude 2,000 feet. 1. It calculated the time to climb for energy, then nose over for the kill. Every 20 milliseconds, 50 times a second, it recalculated the solution using proportional navigation. It's the same math a quarterback uses to lead a receiver, except this receiver was made of fiberglass and about to catch 20 pounds of high-explosive reality. As the Hellfire hauled ass downrange, it hit transonic buffeting, that violent shaking when you punch through the sound barrier like a fist through drywall. The fins worked overtime to keep the ride smooth. The rocket motor was torching through composite propellant at 12 pounds per second, generating 5,000 degrees in the chamber, hot enough to melt steel. The skin of the missile hit 900 degrees just from the friction of the air screaming past. It climbed in a graceful arc to 2,500 feet, trading speed for height, building up potential energy for the terminal dive. The canard fins up front made microscopic tweaks, a degree here, a half degree there, flying with more precision than a neurosurgeon on game day. Then it nosed over into a 35-degree dive. Gravity joined the party, accelerating it back through Mach 1 with authority. Inside the warhead, the FMU-139 intelligent fuse was armed and paying attention. This wasn't some dumb switch from World War II. It was a smart device waiting for the crush switch to feel the impact. No delay, just immediate conversion of high explosives into chaos and regret. The seeker head never blinked. The laser sparkle grew from a pinpoint to a distinct shape. The guidance system resolved the outline of the boat in high definition. 5 seconds to impact. The proportional navigation algorithm solved the final equations. 3 seconds. Control fins locked into final approach position. Committed. 1 second. The seeker captured its last image. A white fiberglass hull growing very large, very fast. The missile was hitting 995 miles per hour, packing 108 pounds of kinetic energy and bad intentions, with a delivery address that read, "To whom it may concern." Impact. The crush switch tripped. The fuse sent the signal in 1/1000th of a second, faster than a human synapse can fire. The 20-pound warhead detonated with the force of 28 pounds of TNT. The blast overpressure exceeded 200 psi, enough force to turn hardened steel into confetti. The fiberglass hull offered about as much resistance as tissue paper in a hurricane. The TSS recorded the whole show in glorious thermal detail. A white-hot bloom maxed out the infrared sensors, brighter than a flashbang in a dark room. Then came the debris, a perfect 100-meter circle of what used to be a boat. An engine cowling here, half a seat there, splashing down like very expensive confetti, representing a really bad investment decision by the cartel. Viper 2-1. Good effect on target. The pilot reported in with the calm, bored tone of someone who just turned $1 million smuggling operation into a cautionary tale. The helicopter orbited once to confirm nothing bigger than a beach ball was left floating, then banked north toward the Iwo Jima. Mission complete. 3 seconds. Less time than it takes to order a venti caramel macchiato at Starbucks with extra foam. The message to smugglers had been delivered at the speed of sound. Signed, sealed, and delivered with extreme prejudice. And unlike most government programs, this one came in under budget and ahead of schedule.